Hi everybody, well it's Saturday afternoon, it's not very warm, we're in my garage and I'm going to start some more work on my 1995 Aston Martin DB7. I've got a few videos which none of them are that good, and if you've watched them, especially thanks to Graham for watching them, then you'll have seen a lot of work that I've done on this already. So it's time to work on the offside now. These cars are known for a particular spot where the trailing arm for the rear suspension mounts, and where there's a box section that goes up and over where the drive shaft comes through, and they get corrosion in them. So I've got my assistant Edward, I know him as Ted, helping me and videoing this bit, because unfortunately this phone I can't flip the camera around, so which makes it a little bit more difficult. So I'm just going to show you now what the problem is. So if young Master Edward would pass me my phone, I'll carry on. So thank you very much for that, okay, Edward. Okay, so here we go. Under the back, so this is the front of the rear wheel well, and if we look down here you can see we've got rot here, and this is where the trailing arm bolts through. If we look up, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, there's a bolt that goes through here, which goes into a boss here, which is welded to the floor pan here. Now these bits up here, you can actually buy that section, and it goes quite a long way up here, but we don't need all of that. Now what I did on the other side is I took this out, but down here was rotten on the other one. Now this has already been done, this is nice and strong, but the worry is that in here we have the inner sill is in here and is a straight line up and adds strength, and behind here is where the jacking point goes into, and as I say, this piece drops down and then the floor comes along here underneath, and then it goes into this, which forms a box in there. So I'm gonna take this arm off now. This trailing arm needs to come off. That I will then shot blast and get it back to as new, replace the bushes in it, bolt it back up. But the main thing is to dig around underneath and find out how bad that corrosion is under there. As you can see, it's coming through, and if you work on the basis that what you can see is a tenth of what's going on inside, then we'll find out. Now I don't know if you can see from here what I did on the other side. He says crawling down. Yeah, Edward's offering to help with that, but no, you're okay, thank you, Edward. So over there you can see that trailing arm there, that's it. Where is it? There is where it mounts on, and it goes back there. And that side we've done all that. New brake lines, new shock absorbers, new springs. Yeah, you can see one of the shockers. These cars have two shock absorbers. They're two coilover shock absorbers at the rear. If you actually trace that back, that goes back to E-Type, because this car actually is based on the XJS. It was going to be the replacement of the XJS, and they didn't do it. So yeah, it makes this car easier to work on in many ways, because a lot of parts are direct from XJS, although the bushes and things like that are uprated on these. These are definitely a more sporting car than the old XJS that they're based on. So underneath here is basically XJS suspension and drive. So it does make getting parts easier. Anyway, I'm guessing this project's going to take me 5-6 weekends, hopefully. Edward and I are off to the Goodwood Revival. No, we're not. We're off to the Goodwood members meeting, which is the 15th of April, and we're going to go in this. A couple of other jobs to do. You'll see there the fuel lines are hanging down. It had
I was going to say that.
Yeah, it had steel fuel lines out of the factory, but they'd corroded through in 2 or 3 places and you can't get them. So I've made up from racing spec braided hose with very nice connectors. Don't know if you can see them over there. Yeah, just up there. You see my assistant is pointing them out. They're lovely. Connections to the original steel pipes that came out of the tank. but I'm having some 3D printed brackets made to clamp these up to the floor. I did actually have a first set done, but I was an idiot because I used the external dimension of the original pipes, not the new pipes, and these are bigger, so I'm having those done again. So that'll be fine, and that'll be up and out of the way. Got a few jobs to do before we can go to the members meeting in April, so need to get on with this. So today's first job is going to be remove this trailing arm, undo the big bolt there, undo big bolt that goes through here. If you can see that there, it's an awkward one, that, because that bolt has got it's flat on one side so that it can come up. We've got to take the shock absorber off first and then undo that, and it's got a flat, so it's not a full hex, it's flat across. So you undo that, and then with the shock absorber off, it'll slide past the boss that the shock absorber mounts onto. So yeah, a few bits and pieces, and while we're in there, we'll put a new anti-roll bar drop link on, new bushes for that. Yeah, and it'll all be nice and hopefully nice and new, and last for another, I don't know, 27 years. Thanks for watching. I'll put up some updates as and when we know what's going on.